I'm moving to LA, baby. If that's what you're saying, congratulations. There is no place on the planet like Los Angeles. Seriously, the creative energy is nowhere else to be found. You have models and actors and entertainers, dancers, trapeze artists, all coming here to make it in the profession that they love, the passion that they've pursued since they were a little kid. And it's really a beautiful thing, but LA is also a very tough city to live in as well. You have 8 million people competing for the roads, competing for the open apartments, and competing for your money. In order to make LA a place that you enjoy living, you gotta move here correctly. And in this video, I'll share with you everything you need to do so you can love LA, the beautiful weather, the crazy people, and all the opportunities just as much as me. What's going on? My name is Brad, and you are watching the Millennial's Guide to Money, where you learn how to dominate your finances so you can own your life. Let's dive in. The first thing to realize is that LA is an expensive city. Just like New York or San Francisco, things cost more here. There's a lot of people coming here, so real estate and land and everything in between is jacked up. If you're coming from San Francisco, New York, Chicago, Miami, it's gonna be similar. A bit less expensive than New York and San Francisco, but a bit more expensive than Chicago, Miami, and Boston and some of these other places. So you gotta prepare for that. If you're coming from Podunkville, Nebraska, this is gonna be a rude awakening for you. You're not gonna get a place that's $400 a month for rent for a bedroom. It's gonna be more like $1,000 to $1,200. So let's start off with housing, because when you get that down, it gets a lot easier. The first thing I recommend doing is looking online to see what kind of places you can sublet. You don't want to just move to LA, sign a lease, and then have to furnish an apartment that costs $2,000 a month when you don't have any work. Yeah, it's expensive here, so take advantage of places that are already furnished, that are flexible. You also want to make sure you're in the area that you like. And if you haven't been in LA, you're not familiar with the different neighborhoods, it's a huge deal to make sure you're living in the neighborhood that suits you, because if you're on the other side of town from where you work, you might be looking at an hour-and-a-half commute each way. That is a huge deal. It might just say 8 miles on Google Maps, but that could be an hour plus. So you want to spend some time here. See if friends have extra rooms that you can rent, or just crash on the couch for a week or two until you get your bearings, because LA has so many beautiful, amazing neighborhoods. You have downtown and Silver Lake, Santa Monica, Venice, Marina del Rey, Burbank, North Hollywood. They're all scattered everywhere, and they all offer great things, but you got to make sure that it's the right place for you. Do not just jump into a lease. Now, if you don't have friends here, what you want to do is go on Facebook, check out LA housing, see what type of groups pop up. Yeah, you can do Craigslist, but there are a lot of Facebook groups that you could tap into to see who has opening spots. And then you could also post pictures of yourself with a little bio saying, hey, I'm moving from Podunkville, Alabama, and I just need a place to stay for a month. This is a bit about me, this is my budget, and see what kind of responses you get. Last resort would also be Airbnb. Obviously, Airbnb is more expensive, but you want flexibility at first. You do not want to get tied down to a lease that's expensive and is far away from work, because with gas and with traffic, you just don't want to do it, okay? It would be miserable. The other perk of jumping into a sublease is that you don't have to furnish the place, but there's a good chance that you'll want to buy a couple things. If you move in with a roommate and they don't have a blender, you might want to get a blender or a toaster or a spatula or whatever, because maybe they just don't cook. But I would highly, highly, highly recommend going to thrift stores. The thrift stores here, I think they have some great stuff, and because so many people move in and out every day, the Goodwill, Salvation Army, and all these other independent thrift stores get flooded with good stuff. It comes in, people buy it, and then the next day, more good stuff comes in. So every single day, for the first couple days or whenever you have free time, check out the thrift store. You'll save a ton of money, and a lot of the stuff is pretty good. I ended up buying these chairs that I'm sitting on, a couple of bowls, plates, a toaster, what else? A French press, shoe rack, all this stuff, like $1 here, $3 here, $5 here. I don't think I spent more than $9 on a chair, and the other one cost $1 because it was on sale the next day. Do not overlook it. The other option, if you gotta buy new, is go to Ross, Marshalls, and TJ Maxx. Those are the best deals for me. And then of course there's IKEA, but bottom line is don't spend more money than you have to, especially on this little stuff. Just buy it used or get a great deal on it new. The next area to focus on is transportation. This is huge because it takes a lot of money to get around when gas costs $1 more a gallon here than the rest of the country. It's hovering around $5 a gallon. And when you think of it, if you're traveling 15 miles to and from work in rush hour traffic, you're averaging 18 miles per gallon, and it's a good $5 each way, and you're spending all this time. So there are a lot of ways to get around this if you live close to work. For example, if you live 2 or 3 miles away, do you even need a car? This is something to consider because the first 3 months I lived in LA, I didn't have a car. I didn't have anything. I had a bicycle. I bought a bicycle, and that got me around Hollywood and West Hollywood, and it was great. I knew it wasn't long-term, but it was a wonderful short-term solution. Then I got a Vespa, and I think this is just the jam. Vespas are cheating. It's like the cheat codes of a video game in LA. You don't pay for parking. Remember, parking, it's hard to find spots here in a lot of places, but also you're paying $1 to $3 an hour in a lot of areas, and that's just money disappearing for nothing. Gas, $5 a gallon. Vespa was 50 miles per gallon. It's phenomenal. Plus traffic is so thick most of the time, and on a Vespa I could weave through cars and I could split the lane legally. It was literally like cheating. Now, the downfall is you might get hit and die. Okay, I get that. Not very fun. But it's fun until you get in an accident, and I'm having a blast. So you gotta do the math for yourself. There's also Uber and Lyft, and there's a program called Zipcar where you could actually rent a car by the minute. You do not need to buy a car if you're living close to work. If you have to have a car, then make sure it gets good gas. It's not gonna be too high on the insurance because you don't wanna throw $1,000 or $1,200 into the vehicle. That's all it's doing is getting you to work and back. That's not necessary. Uber and Lyft is very affordable here, fortunately, because there's so many actors and models struggling to get work that they have to fill up their time with Uber and Lyft. Works for us. One last thing I gotta mention is that the weather here is phenomenal. You are paying for it because there's so many people here gobbling up all the real estate and jacking up the prices, but when the weather is so good, that's another reason why a bicycle or walking or a little scooter or one of these share bike programs, bike share, scooter share programs are so great, because more than likely you're getting around in 75-degree sunny weather. Why not just put some sunscreen on and enjoy it rather than be in a car and have a roof over your head and be in like this rolling cubicle on the way to your actual cubicle. I have my Vespa, which is old. It's a 2007 Piaggio BV250 that I bought for about $2,000 the first time I moved to LA. And this thing, it saved me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, because not only the gas, but also the insurance. I spend $20 a month on insurance and gas combined versus about $350 to $400, probably $350 on gas insurance combined with my car. So that's a huge saving right there. Seriously consider a Vespa or motorcycle. It's just the fact that you gotta have a motorcycle license to legally ride a Vespa or motorcycle on the street. But it'll pay itself off, and if you already have that, really, you gotta consider it. The third category is taxes. Yeah, California has really high taxes. It's 9.5% sales tax here in LA, and then over 13% state income tax. And if you're coming from Florida or Texas or some of these states that don't have state income tax, it is a rude awakening. It sucks, it just sucks. But what are you gonna do? You gotta pay taxes. However, when you come here, and if you're an independent contractor, a model, an actress, something like that, you've gotta write off everything you legally can. You do not want to have any sort of expense that's not gonna be written off if legally you can't. So have a separate credit card. Put all your Ubers and Lyfts on there. Put all the meals you have with agents and clients on there. Have everything from gym or cell phone, anything that is legal, you wanna write it off, because you do not wanna pay any more taxes than you're already gonna have to pay, because it is a fortune. Last but not least, you want to make money as soon as possible. I know it sounds like common sense, but when you're moving, you're always going to end up spending more money than you anticipate. So you might as well try and make money as quickly as possible. Don't just move here, take a week off, linger around. If you're coming as a model, entertainer, something freelance where you got to create your own income via hustling, then hustle ahead of time. Make the contacts before you move. Set up the meetings so that when you're here 2 days later, you already have meetings. You're already meeting with agents and producers and whoever. And then also look into Uber driving. I mentioned before, it's affordable because everyone does it. But hey, if you just move here, then Uber drive. Seriously, you do not want to come here, spend all this money and have nothing coming in. Fortunately with LA, there are a lot of ways to make money. So besides Ubering and renting out Airbnb and doing other stuff, there's being an extra in movies, which that's pretty cool. There is catering events, there's bartending, there's all sorts of gigs. So check Craigslist out, see what you can line up ahead of time. You just want to make sure that you can hit the ground running when you're here. You're not losing, getting your bank account slashed and racking up debt when you could really be making money and at least offsetting some of these costs. These are the basics you really want to crush before and during your move to LA. Housing, make sure it's low and make sure you're splitting with someone else to keep the cost low. The transportation, don't get a car unless you have to. Make sure you're going close to work and really run the numbers to see if it's worth having a car. And if so, make sure it's good on gas and insurance. Number 3, take care of the taxes. You're gonna pay more, so write off everything you possibly can. And number 4 is hustle ahead of time, make money, set up everything you can so that income will start coming in before your credit card gets maxed out. Of course, there's dining, food, entertainment, blah, 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 all that stuff, but you gotta focus on these 4 first. Those will come later. In fact, I have another video coming out with how to live in LA on a budget. So check that out and see you later. Yeah, I guess that's it. Kind of a weird exit, but yeah, see ya.